Hello, welcome to Mr. Brandt's 5th grade Everyday Math Review. In today's lesson, we're going to go over 5.5, connecting fraction of problems to multiplication. The first example problem we're going to start with is a unit fraction of a whole number, and we're going to go with 1/3 of 15. So I'm going to draw 3 circles because my denominator is 3, and I'm going to take the 15 and separate it into those 3 groups. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I just separate it into thirds, and this would be 1/3, and in 1/3 there are 5 of the dots, so 1/3 of 15 is 5. Now, you're being asked to connect the fraction problems to multiplication, and when you're doing 1/3 of 15, you're actually finding the answer to a problem that's 1/3 times 15. So 1/3 times 15 is 5, just like 1/3 of 15 is 5. And sometimes we think about when we multiply that we get a bigger answer, but that's not always the case. So I like to think about multiplying by 1. So 15 times 1 is 15. But I multiplied by 1/3, which is less than 1. So if I multiply by a number less than 1, I'm going to get a smaller answer. And in this case, you can see that it's 5. So for our next one, let's look at a number that is not a unit fraction. And let's do 2/5. Let's do 2/5 of 10. I want to get a different color there. 2/5 of 10. And same thing, I'm going to start with 5 circles this time because I have fifths. And I'm going to separate the 10 into those 5 circles. So 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And for 2/5, I'm going to look in 2 of the circles, and that is 4. So 2/5 of 10 is 4. Now, if we go back up to the previous number, 1/3 of 15 was 5. And if you notice, 15 divided by 3 is 5. So to find the unit fraction of a number, you can take the whole number, divide it by the denominator, and that will get you to your answer. When we're not using a unit fraction, we can still use that first step. So we can still take 10 and we can divide it by 5. So we can do 10 divided by 5, and that gives us an answer of 2. After we find the unit fraction, then we're going to multiply by the numerator, and that will get us to the answer. And again, we're connecting these two together. So 2/5 of 10 is the same as doing 2/5 times 10, which is 4. For our last sample, we're going to go with 3/4 of 12. 3/4 of 12. And I'm not going to use a picture this time. I'm just going to use, find the unit fraction and then multiply by the numerator. So to find the unit fraction, to find 1/4 of 12, I'm going to take 12 divided by 4. And 12 divided by 4 is 3. After I've done that, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply that by the numerator, which is 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/4 of 12 equals 9. And 3/4 of 12 is the same as doing 3/4 times 12, which is 9. For the practice problems, they're asking you to compare decimals by showing whether they're less than, greater than, or equal to. On the home link, they're listed across from each other, which is typically how you will see it. But when I compare them, when I'm giving examples, I like to write them vertically. So I'm going to start with 6 5/100ths, and underneath that I'm going to write 6 50,000ths. When we're comparing decimals, if there's a whole number, we'll start with the whole number first. And 6 and 6 is the same. So now we'll move on to the tenths place. In the tenths place, we have a 0 and a 0. That's also the same. So now we have to move to the hundredths place. Hundredths place of 5 and a 5. That's the same. So we'll move out to the thousandths place. In the thousandths place, 6 50,000ths has a 0. 6 5/100ths doesn't have a 0, doesn't have anything in the thousandths place. Sometimes I like to write a 0 in. It doesn't change the value of this at all. And it helps me to see that this number right now is the same. They are equal, or you could say they are equivalent. So 6 5/100ths is equal to, or the same as, 6 50,000ths. When we're comparing decimals, it doesn't matter the number of digits, it matters the place value. So let's keep that in mind when we compare 79 hundredths to 8 tenths. So 79 hundredths and 8 tenths. Again, we're going to look at the whole number. There's zeros. That's the same. So now we can move to the tenths place. In the tenths place, the 8 is bigger than the 7. 8 tenths is more than 7 tenths. So without even going on to the next one, we know that 79 hundredths is less than 8 tenths. Even though that 79 hundredths has more digits, 8 tenths is greater than 79 hundredths. We can even put a 0 there to help us see that. Okay? Then moving on to the last one, 4 236 thousandths, and compare that to 2 483 thousandths. Again, we're going to start by comparing the whole numbers. 4 ones is bigger than 2 ones. So we don't have to go any further than that. We can see that 4 236 thousandths is greater than 2 483 thousandths. Thanks for joining me in the video today. If you have questions, again, make sure you ask your teacher or someone else for help, and I hope to see you in some more of our videos.